What's going on, everyone? So Jaxson Hayes was an excellent pickup for the Lakers, right? The Lakers needed size. They needed to go get Anthony Davis some help at the center position so it wasn't just solely on his shoulders. And I thought with Jaxson Hayes, they knocked it out of the park. He's a young, very talented, sizable center, 23 years old, 6'11", but he is very raw, right? He does need some work. He does need to be put in the proper positions to really have some success. But he was a guy that is kind of like, your young JaVale McGee that could come in and just give some quality minutes at the center position, play alongside Anthony Davis. I mean, there were even talks of the Lakers maybe even getting that look of Jaxson Hayes and AD side by side, right? And he's a guy that is actually better defensively than people give him credit for. He's actually one of the better pick and roll defensive big men, which is nice, right? Especially if he's slotted alongside Anthony Davis. He'll be able to trust that Anthony Davis has got his back, best defense player in the league. You got two bigs that can defend out on the perimeter if need be, kind of defend the pick and roll. It gives you some nice size and some nice looks, right? Makes a bit of a mismatch. Now, again, he's a guy that the Lakers are going to have to be patient with at times. There's times where he looks absolutely brilliant. There are times where he looks everything that he is as far as the rawness that he is, right? Now, he's not a guy that's going to come and jump out the page, and he's not a 20 and 10 guy or anything like that, but he is really good. He's 55% from the field. He's like 72% on that little floater that he likes to do. He's a guy you could dump the ball down to and kind of just let him go to work. And he's a guy that had a lot of promise. And the big problem was that he kind of ended up being buried with the Pelicans, right? He ended up falling in a lot of ways down minutes and minutes and minutes, where he was at one point playing a pretty significant role, right? Not last year, but the year prior, he was playing 20 minutes per game, and then that dropped to 13, which last year was his fewest minutes. Now, Valanciunas was on the roster and stuff like that, and the Pelicans were last year off to the races, looked like one of the better teams. They were the number one seed at one point. So it made sense, right? They're trying to push and try to win and actually prove that they're good enough to really compete and contend. And unfortunately, Jaxson Hayes ended up suffering in that regard. So he goes to the Lakers with the idea of what we've seen lots of young guys do now, right? The Malik Monks, the Dennis Schroeders, the Lonnie Walkers, right? And some it works out for, some it doesn't. But they looked at it as like, hey, let me go to the Lakers. If I play well and I am a key component here, I could earn myself a real contract. And then the Lakers ended up signing Christian Wood. And he is very likely going to be the primary center alongside or backing up Anthony Davis. Which, if Anthony Davis is playing primarily the 4, Jaxson Hayes, I don't think will have a real problem. I think Jaxson Hayes will be okay, right? He probably won't be playing 20, 25 minutes a game, but I do think he will get, probably 15 minutes a game, right? Because Christian Wood probably plays 20 minutes a game, probably plays 15 of that at the 5, probably plays 5 or so minutes at the 4. Hayes, you could play alongside Christian Wood, you could play alongside Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is going to miss 20-plus games this year, so Jaxson Hayes is going to have an opportunity to fill in that. But if Anthony Davis is okay with playing some spots at the 5, that just takes away from Jaxson Hayes, right? Now, Anthony Davis has been very public and open about it, and we've gotten the reports that, look, Anthony Davis doesn't want to play the 5, at least during the regular season. Come playoff time, though, I really think Jaxson Hayes probably falls out of the rotation, right? Because the Lakers are probably not going to run 10, 11 guys deep come playoff time. So they're going to really tighten that rotation to probably 8 or 9 guys. And you got to imagine Reddish, Christie, and Hayes are probably the 3 guys that are the odd men out, right? They run the other 9 guys. The 2 rookies aren't going to see any playing time, right? And that's not even counting if the Lakers end up signing somebody via the buyout market, or if they make it some type of trade, right? That, like, what if they end up trading for a center or something like that, right? Like, there's just a lot of questions for this season. And the fact that they landed Christian Wood, I think, really does kind of put Hayes in a complicated position, because it's now that unknown. Now, he's going to have to work, and he's going to have to work hard. He's going to have to prove it, right? It's not going to be just handed to him. Like, here you go, dude. Like, no, he's going to really have to bust it in training camp and really kind of earn those minutes. And good, healthy competition is always nice, right? There's nothing wrong with some good competition. But Christian Wood is looking at this as like, I want to be a starter, right? Like, I want to move into the starting role. And he's just an all-around better player currently than Jaxson Hayes, right? So Jaxson Hayes is going to have his work cut out in that regard. But then, how much does Anthony Davis play? Now, if the Lakers ended up not getting Christian Wood, right? Let's say that they signed a Myers Leonard, or, let's say they brought in a JaVale McGee or something like that, right? Then I don't think it would be as complicated for Hayes, right? Because Hayes would probably, because of his youth and his ability to be a floor running big and defend the pick and roll and kind of his energy, I think that he would have gotten more opportunity, right? Anthony Davis, very likely before Christian Wood, Anthony Davis would have probably been the 5 to start. And then Hayes kind of fills in and is his primary backup. And then let's say that they got JaVale McGee, right? JaVale McGee probably just plays in spots. And then even if Anthony Davis did want to play primarily 4, and he basically didn't want to play the 5 like he still does, then that's even better for Jaxson Hayes, because now at this point, Jaxson Hayes is probably playing 25 minutes a game, right? He's probably the main guy off the bench for Anthony Davis, and maybe even potentially starting, right? Like, if the Lakers did want to go 2 bigs and AD just doesn't want to play the 4 at all during the regular season, right? Because at that point, then you need to start a center. So Hayes, there you go, right? And now we got our backup, right? And then maybe we even look to go get that another center to kind of be that third center where AD's primarily the 4, right? Like, that could have been the thing, but not how it worked out. Unfortunately for Hayes, fortunately for the Lakers, right? Because, look, Christian Wood is a good player. It's 17-8 guy, can score basically at all 3 levels. He can knock down the 3 ball 38%. Like, he has a ton of value. He's going to play a big role for the Lakers. He's going to be very impactful, more than I think Jaxson Hayes would have been regardless. But I mean, he is better suited at the 4 than he is the 5. It's going to be very interesting to see how the AD, Wood, and Hayes kind of trifecta works. Luckily for Hayes, again, Wood is able to be and play the 4 too, right? So the games that Anthony Davis is out and misses, it is very possible that Hayes sees more time at the 4 spot, especially if, like, LeBron and AD are out. Now, I know that they just passed that new rule, but I still don't buy that that's going to affect anything. You put AD, put LeBron on the injury report. There you go. There's the loophole to that, right? Like, they can't tell you that, AD's hurt. Like, oh, you have to play. Like, no, like, that's not going to happen, right? So, to me, it really boils down to how, like, one, is AD playing pretty much the 4 the majority of the game, right? Maybe he closes the last 5 minutes, right, at the 5, right? Maybe you play Hayes and Wood primarily at the 5, and then AD the last 5 minutes of the game to close out. He's best at the 5. You slide him over to the 5, and you finish your game strong. Then I think Hayes will be okay. Right? Because even with that, there's still 43 minutes at the 5 spot, right? Christian Wood probably, like I said, plays maybe, let's call it 20 minutes tops 23 minutes tops. That means Hayes could probably get around 15 to 20 minutes at the 5 spot. Because, I mean, the games that maybe you go small ball, right? Maybe LeBron's at the 5 or whatever, right? You're playing the Warriors or something like that. Then maybe that changes things. But, like, if AD plays 10 to 15 minutes a game at the 5, it's going to make things very difficult for Jaxson Hayes. But if he's basically only playing the last 5 minutes, then you're still good. Like I said, you still got 43 minutes in a game. You're not playing Christian Wood 43 minutes. So, that means Jaxson Hayes is probably going to get around 20 minutes or so, right? But I don't know. I'm very curious to see how it works out with Hayes. I'm rooting for him. I want to see him play. You know, I hope he gets a real opportunity, and let's see what he could do. You know, hopefully it doesn't turn into like a Damian Jones where it's like, oh man, he was really good the year prior. He's young, bring him in. Let's go. How do we get this guy for vet minimum? And then he just became unplayable. Hopefully that's not the case with Jaxson Hayes. I don't think it will be. But I do. I'm just curious to see how much does Hayes actually play. Is it 10 minutes? Is it 15 minutes? Is it 20 minutes? Right? I think it boils down to Anthony Davis's time at the 5. Right? But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? What are your thoughts on Jaxson Hayes? How much do you think he plays? Do you think things got a little more complicated with Wood? Do you think, nah, it's fine. It's going to be the same thing either way? Love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments.